Dion Phaneuf retired today.
Yeah,
14 years
what a
in the
legend.
NHL. What a guy, eh?
Um, yeah, I mean, he was a Leaf captain, so yeah. Obviously,
You have to talk
you know,
about it because you're
yeah, I was
a
gonna say
neighborhood
being a
Leaf
Leaf
fan.
fan, I can kind of, I guess, like I remember, like, I still remember vividly when Brian Burke pulled the trigger on the trade for him. It was late January, Sunday, like
Oh,
evening or something. It was like 4 or 5 o'clock. I remember.
wow.
Don't ask me how I remember this, but I do. And actually, I only remember it because he pulled off two major trades that day. So this was one of them. And like when you look at what it took to get Phaneuf, it really wasn't much. I think it was like he got Phaneuf and Keith Ollie, and maybe there was another guy in the deal. I can't remember, but it cost like Stajan, Jamal Mayers, Ian White. Like there wasn't really any big names, and at the
No.
time, Phaneuf was a big name.
Yeah, he was definitely regarded as a very good top four defenseman, like a Shea Weber type of player.
Yeah, like
I
he was still young. He was only like 4 years. That was only like 4 or 5 years into the league. Like he still had a lot of like I don't know. I mean, maybe he was the player he was going to be at that point, but at the time, people thought that he could have still stepped up a bit.
think he reminds me of PK Subban. Like they don't have the same play style, but in the terms of their development curve, like they both went to their
Yes,
peak and then they just staggered from there.
yeah, they had like it was very early. They came onto the scene like bursting out and like just making a buzz, and everyone's like, "Ooh, look at this guy!" And
Yep.
then yeah, you're right. Like here we are now, 10 years later, and it's like are they the same player that they were once? No, not at all.
Well,
But I
the,
think you know what though, even their style of the type of defenseman they are is very similar. They're both very top heavy defensemen. Like I remember when I used to see Phaneuf skate around the ice in the blue and white, like he looked like this guy that just had like a ton of upper body weight and like it looked like he like you could like just push him and like he'd lose his balance because like it just always looked like he was like on like his edge. He was like a spinning top, you know?
right.
And I see the same thing with Subban, to be honest, like very top heavy and maybe just like doesn't have that balance. Oh, I'm sure he is balanced. Obviously, they're both strong guys. They can hold their own.
Of course, yeah.
But like I don't know, I feel like if like Lucic takes a run at them, like I don't think they have a chance. I
I
think they're
think if
center of
Blue Chiefs takes a
gravity.
run against 85% of the league, they'll be
You are
going
right.
down.
Yeah, I think like Chara is one of the only guys who could take a hit from Lucic and not feel a thing.
They probably tested that during practice. Just the whole practice,
Right?
just charging at Chara, see who can knock him down. That'd be
Yeah.
fun.
But yeah, I mean, all in all, I mean, at the time, Phaneuf, he captained the Leafs back to the postseason for the first time since 2004.
There you are.
Albeit, yes, that was the collapse of 2013 in Game 7, where it was 4-1 in the third period. We all know that.
Yeah.
We don't need to talk anymore about it. But yeah, I mean, yeah, after that, it all kind of started to go downhill. And the year he got traded in 2016, you can kind of see that, like, it was coming. Like, the team was going through a change. And yeah, the change of scenery, him going to just another team, the Ottawa Senators, and just it kind of showed that the Leafs were ready to make that next step and start focusing on the future and like the age of like Phaneuf, Kessel, Lupul, and like all those guys
Bozak.
was and Reimer, yeah, Bozak. I mean, Bozak he transitioned into like the Matthews Marner era. Um, but yeah,
Yeah.
he like yeah, you know, you're right. Like all those guys, like it was kind of signs that like it's that era is ending and it's time for the next step, which is where we are now. And yeah, I think you know Phaneuf he played an integral part for where the Leafs are today. Without Phaneuf, the Leafs wouldn't have been the way they are.
I
Phaneuf
think.
was on that team that finished last that drafted Matthews, so thank you Phaneuf for your
Thank.
services.
God bless you. God bless you. And he
That
went
was
on.
actually the year they traded him.
Then he went on to the LA Kings, I think. He stayed there for a while.
Yes, yeah, yeah, I want to say he was there for like maybe a year or two. Don't really know how much playtime he got towards the end of that stint. But yeah, yeah, he's been around. I mean, 4 teams, I guess. Yeah.
I sort of want to know. to what? Yeah, he finished in Los Angeles,
Hmm.
2018, 2019. So it's minus 21. Oh my. So he retired in 2019. It just took
Yes,
him
yeah,
this
that's
long
right.
to actually say he's not playing
Yeah,
anymore.
exactly. I mean, I honestly I thought he already was retired when I got that update today. I was just like, oh, okay, like it's just official now. Yeah.
Well, with all the talk of Hall of Fame in the air, it's a stupid question, but Dion Phaneuf, would you ever see him ever make it as a Leaf fan? Would you see Dion Phaneuf make it? I know it's really dumb because I don't think he will ever, but
I mean, the only thing like at the junior level, he has he has a world junior gold, at least one, maybe two. So he has that, but like his professional career when he hit the NHL, like he's made to the conference finals once with the Ottawa Senators. He's never played in a cup final, doesn't have a Stanley Cup, obviously. He maybe has a Norris. I don't know. He might have won a Norris with Calgary, or
no, he
might
didn't
I
get
think I know
no.
he was.
No.
No, he doesn't. I think he was nominated though, maybe.
I'm sure he
Um,
was. Yeah.
but yeah, like he doesn't have the individual accolades, the team accolades. Like he never played for an Olympic team either. He's only been to three world championships.
It says here two. 2004,
Oh, two.
2005. That's it.
That's the World Juniors, yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
And
That's all
then
the
two
tournaments
world
he's ever been.
championships. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. So that's what I mean. Like at the junior level, yeah, he had success, but then at the pro level,
he
like
couldn't.
NHL and world championships, he doesn't. Yeah, I don't. There isn't really much to go off of there. I mean, yeah, like you said too. I mean, he finished a career minus 57, 1,300 penalty minutes, just shy of 500 points. He did play 1,000 games, so he does have a silver stick, which is good to see. I mean, he was always a serviceable defenseman, which is what you knew you were getting that from him. You could put up like, 70, 80 games constantly. He wasn't really injury prone either.
Lots of penalty minutes, though, I'm seeing here.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's
Wow,
man, 1,300 penalty minutes in a career. He has,
it's
I
nuts.
mean, I'm looking here. He had his third season in the league. He had 182 penalty minutes, which was a career high.
Slow down, buddy. Yeah, that
His
guy's
high with the
crazy.
Leafs is 144.
188 is, yeah.
He's had over 100 penalty minutes 5 times in his career. Like, yeah, I mean that
He's a
also just
very
kind of shows you
bossy
that,
guy.
yeah, well, it shows you too because he played from 2005 to 2019. It shows you kind of like how much the game has changed. That like a player like that early in his career, when the game was more catered towards like a lot of strength and not as much speed and skill as it is today, like it kind of just showed you that like a player like Fanuff could be dominant. And it's interesting how much contrast there is now. How like if you see McDavid going one on one with him, what are you gonna do, right? Like I mean, my money's on
Of
McDavid.
course, yeah. I mean, he was never fast enough. That's
No,
one
but
thing.
even his shutdown ability, I think even in his prime at like the height of his game in like the early like 2010s around there, like yeah, I'd still take a guy
Okay.
like McDavid today over
So
Mc,
prime Dion versus Connor McDavid. You think that Connor McDavid will more likely win a confrontation than lose?
yeah, but that's also that shouldn't be a surprise to
No.
anyone because like I mean, Phaneuf was never a
Well,
generational talent, and McDavid is a generational talent.
yeah. Although I feel he looks a lot like a Jeff Petrie, Shea Weber type of player, more defensively inclined, still capable of driving play and getting assists off of plays, which that's something that's very valuable and at the time was also very rare to see. Like you didn't really get the best of both worlds of an offensive guy and being extremely aggressive. At the time it was a thing. Scott Stevens. You've got what's his name from Philly? My lord, Probert.
Um,
Not
he
Probert. Who was the defenseman
no.
there? The tall giant there. I keep forgetting his name, and he went to Arizona to end his career.
Oh, well, you're talking about Pronger.
Yeah, why do Jesus
Oh, okay, yeah.
Probert?
I mean,
What am
I
I saying?
mean, they're both PR,
Close,
not far
not.
off.
But yeah, Pronger also reminiscent of that type of player, and yeah, Hall of Fame. I don't think Dion Phaneuf makes it, but very serviceable player. 1,000 games, great career.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No doubt about it. I mean, congratulations to him, and cheers to making that decision. It's always tough for a player to officially say, they're hanging up their skates. I mean, they never want to admit it, but yeah, he did, and hope him all the I wish him all the best in future endeavors.
He can join his wife in acting.
He very well could. I mean, I don't know if I wouldn't know if he's cut out for acting, but hey,
Could
man, you never know,
happen.
right?
Collaboration could just spark that inspiration he needs, I think. Anyways, that'll be for him to decide.